a weekend of football got off to a flying start across Europe, with Newcastle and West Ham giving us a cracker in the Premier League, while in the Italian Serie A, Napoli were put to the sword. In Spain, Barcelona needed only Rafinha's goal to close the gap on Real Madrid, but still were not saved from the disappointments of Manchester United, who struggled to find the back of the net while Chelsea dropped crucial points. In the German Bundesliga, Thomas Tuchel conceded the title to Bayer Leverkusen. Welcome back to the Football Tribe YouTube channel. Robert K. Sarkos is my name. So, let's dive into all that action from the world of football on Saturday as the different leagues did return. We'll kick things off in Spanish La Liga, where Barcelona won by a goal to nil against Las Palmas, a 10-man Las Palmas. They did struggle to find the back of the net, but it was Rafinha's only goal that won all the 3 points for Xavi's side. João Felix providing the assist there for Rafinha's header. Las Palmas found themselves down to 10 men in the first half after their goalkeeper had a dangerous tackle against Rafinha and he was handed a straight red card. But even with down to 10 men, Barcelona still struggled to open their defense. Nonetheless, they were able to walk away with all 3 points thanks to Rafinha's only goal of the game as they closed the gap on table leaders Real Madrid, who find themselves at 72 points after 29 games, while Barcelona, who have now played 30 games, find themselves in second place on 67 points. In third place, it is Girona at 62 points, 5 points behind Barcelona, and they will be in action today. Real Madrid will be up against Atletico Bilbao today, as we'll see. But that was the key moment there in the Spanish La Liga. In the Italian Serie A, Juventus fell against Lazio as Lazio beat them by a goal to nil. In the early kickoff, Napoli had been thrashed by Atalanta by 3 goals to nil, while AC Milan managed to overcome Fiorentina in a 2-1 victory that gave us a thrilling second half there that followed a barren first half. So, clearly, in the Italian Serie A, it's out of contention that Inter Milan will be winning the Scudetto. While in Spain, all points still point at Real Madrid, it's still a little early to call, especially with at least about 9 or 8 games still left to play for most sides. And in the German Bundesliga, Thomas Tuchel did congratulate Bayer Leverkusen on winning the Bundesliga following their 2-0 defeat against Borussia Dortmund at the Allianz Arena. Earlier on, Bayer Leverkusen had left it late once again as they won by 2 goals to 1 against Hoffenheim. Clearly, whoever has that silver pen writing should begin writing Xabi Alonso's name on that German Bundesliga title. So, it was quite a cracking weekend. In the Premier League, like I said, it was a 7-goal thriller in the opener between the Magpies and the Hammers. Newcastle coming from 3 goals to 1 down to win it 4-3 against David Moyes' West Ham. Newcastle found the back of the net first through Alexander Isak, but West Ham rose back. It was a penalty that Isak scored to give Newcastle the lead, but Mikel Antonio scored to level matters before Mohamed Kudus made it 2-1 going into halftime. And in the 48th minute, it was the on-form Gerard Bowen who scored to make it 3-1. But Newcastle were not just about to give up, especially considering that they were at home at St. James's Park. And on they came, got another penalty, which Alexander Isak stood forward and still converted, a brace for the Swedish international, while Harvey Barnes also bagged a brace that won it all for the Magpies. His brace, his first goal, of course, did put Newcastle to level, and then a 90th minute strike that was enough to win all 3 points for Ed Howe's side, in a game that saw Newcastle finish with a manless after Anthony Gordon was given a red card on a second booking in the 94th minute. So, what a beautiful game that we did witness there. Quite cracking. One that we had not seen coming, at least not in that style, but one that we thought we deserved, especially after a 2-week-long boring international break that was dominated with friendlies for the better part. Anyway, moving forward, away from that, at the Vitality Stadium, Bournemouth beat up against Everton by 2-1. Dominic Solanke on target for Bournemouth, while the other was an own goal, unfortunate for Seamus Coleman. Beto, moments in between, leveled matters for the Toffees, but it was never to be, as that own goal by Seamus Coleman decided the tie, as Bournemouth won it by 2-1. Disappointingly, Chelsea shared the spoils with a 10-man Burnley in a 2-all draw. Lorenz Asignon was given a red card in the 40th minute for a second booking for what did look like a very, very slight foul, or not even a foul, but a simple tag on Mykhailo Mudryk, and then he was given his second booking and Chelsea were given him a penalty, which Cole Palmer stepped forward and scored. Quite a brilliant penalty. It was a penanka there, but then Josh Collin was not going to have it because Burnley did restore parity just moments later. And in the second half, again, Cole Palmer, the summer signing from Manchester City, worth £45 million, thought he had won it for the Blues with a brilliant strike. But then, Dara Oshie was not going to have it. He was not going to let it go. A brilliant header from him there to see Vincent Kompany's side back to level. Meanwhile, Vincent Kompany in the first half was also shown a red card for his protest on the red card that had been given to Ray Lindsay. He thought it was unfair, just as personally I thought it was. It's hard to say that they would have given a penalty without giving a yellow card, but in my opinion, I do not think the foul was quite enough to warrant a penalty. I mean, it's a physical game. Some of these things happen. It was a very slight tag that I do not think could have caused Mykhailo Mudryk under normal circumstances to hit the floor. But it is what it is. That's the kind of officiating sometimes we get from some of these Premier League officials. But even with the man less, Burnley still wanted to win it all. And Rodriguez hit the woodwork with a brilliant header there. He thought actually that won it. He should have been able to hit the target. But unfortunately, he hit the woodwork and it finished 2-2. Quite a disappointing weekend, not just for Chelsea fans, but especially for manager Mauricio Pochettino, who will be quite disappointed with the kind of performance his team. To be honest, Chelsea didn't look like they were desperate to win it. Yes, they did threaten. They did dominate play. They did, put on a great deal of attacks, and indeed, Burnley had to fend them off. But every time Burnley came forward, it felt like they were going to score at every opportunity. So clearly that tells you that Chelsea, even with a one-man advantage, they still didn't have their act together. Away from that, Nottingham Forest did share the spoils also in a 1-all draw against Crystal Palace, while Sheffield United also shared the spoils in a 6-goal thriller against Fulham. Tottenham, on the other side, beat up against Luton Town by 2-1. In a weekend where you thought that after victories for Tottenham and Aston Villa would inspire Manchester United in their pursuit for the top 4, that they would push themselves to try and win a game. It just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. And constantly, these are the kinds of disappointments we have come to receive from this Manchester United side. But like I said, Tottenham with a 2-1 victory over Luton Town. But if you had watched my preview, I had guaranteed almost that Luton Town would find the back of the net in this one. They just know how to score goals. They just don't know how to hold on to them and help them win games, because eventually they do lose. And it was Chong that found the back of the net first to give the visitors the lead. And that lead, one they carried into halftime until early in the second half when Kabore scored in the back of his own net to level matters for Ange Postecoglou's side. Quite a brilliant ball that Brennan Johnson did lay into the box that caused Kabore to tap the ball into the back of his own net. And then, late on in the game, it was captain Son Heung-min who had hit the woodwork earlier on, who scored the all-important goal that won all the 3 points for Tottenham Hotspurs, I think in the 86th minute. Tottenham is one of those sides this season that do just know how to win games quite late on. Yes, Liverpool have done that plenty of times. Arsenal have done it sometimes. But Tottenham, they just love a late winner. And indeed, they did win this one to strengthen their hopes of finishing in the top 4. Still, in the top 4 pursuit, Aston Villa managed to beat up against Wolverhampton Wanderers in another brilliant game by 2-0. Doherty had a brilliant chance to, find a consolation for Wolves, but it was not meant to be. In a game that saw Moussa Diaby score a very brilliant strike against Jose Sa there in the Wolverhampton Wanderers goal. And then we had John Duran score the second. Of course, it was Konasa that floated in that ball and it got fumbled just on the goal line there and then hit Durani's leg on the line and on it went into the back of the net. And 2-0 was the victory for Unai Emery's side as they beat up against Wolverhampton Wanderers by 2-0. And then, in the late kickoff of Saturday, we did see an unserious Manchester United. Even when you thought that they could nick this one, they just failed to. How many times have we seen it this season? Time and again, that United are failing to win games. They fail to hold on to leads. It doesn't matter what side comes. Usually when they find the back of the net, you just expect that somehow they are going to concede. Now, the advantage in this particular case, or the disappointing part, is that they got their goal quite late on in the game. I think in the 96th minute, through their summer signing in Mason Mount, who has struggled with injuries all season. So once he scored that goal, we thought, well, the Red Devils have snatched it at the death of the hour. But 1 minute and a half later, they were commiserating after conceding from a Jazz, leveler in a game that saw Brentford hit the woodwork twice. Ivan Toney hit the inside of the upright, while Matthias Jorgensen also hit the crossbar. In a game that saw Mark Flaken and Andre Onana on the other side make a couple of saves. But when you look at the whole context of the game, you really do not, you see a level of unseriousness that United didn't show the desperates to try and win this game, especially in their top 4 pursuit. And again, it begs the question of the manager's credentials. I would be interested in hearing from Manchester United fans whether they are satisfied with Erik ten Hag. Is it the players that are not putting in enough shift for the manager, or the manager also has himself to blame? I'll be interested in hearing from Manchester United fans. But anyway, that was the result there from the GTEC Stadium. 1-1 it finished in what a last 4 minutes of that game that we did have. Very disappointing result for Manchester United, especially in the context of things that Tottenham Hotspurs and Aston Villa, who had played earlier at 6 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. respectively, had won their games. What more evidence was there to justify that United desperately needed to win this one if they were to remain in serious pursuit for that top 4 finish? I don't think there was any, and yet they just couldn't rise to the occasion. At least they thought they had, but they just couldn't hold on to that single goal to see them through this one. Yes, they have won games by 1-0 in the past against teams like Fulham when they scored late on Bruno Fernandes for that one. I think they did win 1-0 against Luton Town in the first leg. A goal by Victor Lindelof. They held on to that one earlier on in the season. I think On match day one, they won by goal to nil against Wolverhampton Wanderers, managed to hold on to that one, and yet yesterday they just couldn't crack that. They just couldn't hold on to it as they dropped crucial points. But anyway, it is what it is. Now, here is what all those results mean as far as the table standings are concerned. Ahead of Super Sunday's action that we'll see Liverpool host Brighton and Hove Albion at Anfield, while Arsenal travel to the Etihad Stadium in the Super Sunday cracker against Manchester City. Now, of course, Arsenal are still top, 64 points, tied with Liverpool in second place, while Manchester City just a point behind those top two. Aston Villa at 59 points after 30 games played, so it is 8 games left for them to play. While for the other teams, after this weekend, they will still have 9 games left to play, as we'll see. Tottenham at 56 points after 29 games, while Manchester United are at 48 points after 29 games played. West Ham United, in spite of that loss, are still 7th on the table with 44 points, while Newcastle United moved within a point behind them following that victory against West Ham. And then Brighton and Hove Albion are at 42 points in 9th place, while in 10th place is Wolverhampton Wanderers on 41 points. Chelsea are still on page 2, that's 11th place with 40 points, while Fulham are on 39 points, just right behind them, although Chelsea have played 2 games less as compared to Fulham, and in a game less in comparison to Wolverhampton Wanderers. So clearly, mathematically, Chelsea do have the opportunity to win that 1 game advantage and send themselves as high as 9th place behind Newcastle if they can manage to win that game to go past Brighton and Wolverhampton Wanderers. But we'll wait and see. In 13th place, it's Bournemouth with 38 points, while Crystal Palace, after that draw, at 30 points after 29 games. Brentford still 15th with 27 points, while Everton and Nottingham Forest follow in 16th and 17th place respectively on 25 points and 22 points apiece. Luton Town, of course, occupy the bottom 3 after 30 games played at 22 points, while Burnley on 18 points, while Sheffield United after 29 games are at 15 points. So that is the impact or what it means on the Premier League table standings following yesterday's disappointing results, especially for Chelsea and Manchester United. Not because personally that I had expected them to win, but in the mannerism in which they portrayed themselves. Chelsea with a one-man advantage, Man United scoring late on but cannot failing to hold on to that goal is quite results that both managers and fans will find quite very disappointing. Anyway, that's it from me. I hope you have a wonderful Sunday, a wonderful Easter, and I'll see you next time. Stay blessed. Do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be blessed.